Biggest issue in this general election campaign, £34 million, the upper spending limit that the Conservative Party, under the rules and the regulations, is allowed to spend. That is over £50,000 per MP, which basically means that you have got parties who are dancing to the tune of big corporations and wealthy donors. That can't be good for the people. That can't be right for democracy. Because the way things stand with the current red and blue Punch and Judy show, we are about to be drawn into World War III. And hey folks, so we have a general election coming up on the 4th of July. And I'm out here on the Monsell Trail in Bakewell, making a little detour with Kobe. This used to be the railway track which linked Buxton to Bakewell and beyond before it was closed down in the 1960s. There's a big local movement to restore the railway, which would make massive sense because the amount of traffic on the roads here in Bakewell is insane. But anyway, I'm digressing onto local issues, when in fact the biggest issue in this general election campaign was kind of hinted to by Labour crying into its cornflakes that the Tories had £34 million to spend. That's the upper spending limit that the Conservative Party, under the rules and the regulations, is allowed to spend. And Labour crying that they couldn't match that and they needed more donations from the members to make things fair. £34 million. That is over £50,000 per MP. The 650 MPs. I'm not even sure whether that includes individual MP spending, and it may not be. It may be that each MP's got another 10, 20,000, depending on the constituency. It's a kind of complicated calculation depending on the number of constituents and that kind of thing. So fundamentally, the general election and democracy in general in the UK and in America, we're seeing the same with Biden and Trump. What it means is those political parties who have got wealthy donors or big corporate backers are the ones who are most likely to be able to afford that kind of spending and to make the kind of impact that would be necessary to have any chance of winning. Farming is huge here in Derbyshire Dales. Sheep in that field. Most of the land here is farmland, small villages. The biggest towns are Bakewell and Ashbourne. So I will be standing for Derbyshire Dales as an independent MP. Now, the interesting thing about standing as an independent is the probability, statistical probability, of me winning is negligible. So it raises a big kind of question mark, why bother? Why go to all that effort and that expense? I mean, it costs thousands of pounds. I'm going to have to find quite a huge chunk of money to fund the campaign, although I'm planning to do a lot of it as much as I can on social media and using video. But just simple things like to send every household in the constituency a mailing. You're talking about, £10,000 is what's really needed. So it's a huge chunk of money. And the reason why I feel it's really important to stand as an independent, despite the fact the probability is I have no chance of winning. The reason why it's important is because it's a powerful way to pattern interrupt the political shit show which is currently underway. The reason I say that is because the temptation in any kind of marketing is to do whatever it takes to win. So dumb yourself down, say all the right things, think about a sales guy in the car showroom. That overriding temptation to say what is necessary to get the deal. However, if you're not attached to winning and you totally accept you're not going to win, so You don't need to dumb yourself down, and you don't need to sort of tailor messages which you think are going to win you a vote. You just come all out, full guns blasting, with the truth. And that is really powerful, and that is what is needed right now. Because the way things stand, with the current red and blue Punch and Judy show, we are about to be drawn into World War III. And many people are saying that the reason why Rishi Sunak declared a snap July election was because he does not want to be a wartime Prime Minister. And we've already seen footage of Keir Starmer being interviewed, saying that Israel has the right to defend itself. And already we've seen huge amounts of money being poured into Ukraine. So we are joining forces with Israel, we're joining forces with Ukraine. We are embroiling ourselves into overseas conflicts which really are nothing to do with us. And what we really need is for all resources and energy and focus to be on looking after the people of our own country, to be frank. Now, that doesn't mean I'm abandoning the cause of people who are being slaughtered, and far from it, because I believe that what is going on in Palestine is absolutely shocking. So absolutely, we need to be a stand for peace, but certainly not supporting genocidal forces in the world, and certainly not getting involved in supporting conflicts and wars, for example, against Russia, which would open us to the potential of nuclear annihilation. And that is the truth of it. If Russia decided that it was going to launch a nuclear attack on the UK, we would be toast. We really would. So it's important that the people stand up and speak out. It's important that we speak truth to power. And that's why it's wonderful to see so many independents standing strong and speaking out against these forces. For example, we've got Andrew Feinstein. He's standing in Holborn and St Pancras constituency. He's going head to head with Keir Starmer, and in particular on his stance over the Israel conflict, Gaza conflict. Obviously, Jeremy Corbyn is a very high-profile independent, thrown out of the Labour Party by Keir Starmer, despite the fact he was a massively popular leader and the membership of the Labour Party was at its peak during the Jeremy Corbyn years, and he really won the hearts and minds of the students. But of course, the corporate mainstream media set out to smear him and destroy him, which is what they do to anyone who dares to question the totalitarian regime, because of course all the mainstream newspapers and media are also owned by the big corporations who are the backers of the big main parties. Essentially, both Labour and Tory are cheeks of the same arse. They're both funded by big corporate backers. They are not standing in the interests of the people. Another famous independent is Andrew Bridgen, who formerly was with the Conservative Party, and he is standing as independent for North West Leicestershire, and he has been completely outspoken in the House of Commons, challenging the government, especially on the issue of the experimental medical procedures which were bulldozed through back in 2021, and the statistics surrounding them. I won't go into too much detail because YouTube will inevitably ban this video for misinformation, when in fact these are statistics which are published by the government itself, which show beyond any shadow of a doubt that there have been a huge amount of excess deaths over the past few years, 2022, 2023, 2024. So there's a massive problem and no one wants to speak about it. And it's Andrew Bridgen who is raising those issues. And the interesting thing is, every time he stood up in the House of Commons to speak out, it's like the chamber is empty or empties out. It's very interesting to watch the reaction of other MPs because, of course, they were all issued with cease and desist notices back in 2021 by people like me, people in the freedom movement who could see what was happening and wanted to put the MPs on notice that what they were doing was unlawful. And once you have a cease and desist order issued against you, you can't claim that you didn't know because you're put on notice. So I'm really pleased that we've got some amazing independent candidates, and I know that all around the country people are stepping up to the plate and are taking this opportunity to push back, to speak out, to stand, even though they may not have any chance of winning. I would really urge you, if you feel passionately, as I do, that we have to stand up, speak out and be counted. Hello, sweet little dog, baby. I urge you to stand as an independent too. And there's a whole wave of independents being called together. There's a movement called Greater Britain, which is basically a support network for independents to share resources, to help one another. If enough people stand and speak out, then we have a chance to pattern interrupt. Come on. Oh, dogs. It's very busy. It's Bank Holiday Monday. We have a chance to pattern interrupt the shit show and at least create awareness, because what we have is a situation of mass formation psychosis going on, where the majority of people, unfortunately, believe the psyop, believe the mainstream media, and they don't see the truth of what is going on and what is coming through. So I am here standing at the old Bakewell railway station. So I'm at the top of Station Road on the Monsell Trail. Let's just pan around. This is a beautiful railway station. So the trains ran through here. You'll see it's a very wide trail. I guess it would have been a double track back in the day before they took up the railway and devoted it to a walker's route. So there is a plan underway to restore the railway, obviously to create a new route for the walkers and to restore the railway, which makes, to me, tremendously good sense. And for anyone who has sat in... Hey. It's the dogs. This is where a lot of people park and walk. The old railway station car park up here. It's an amazing Victorian building. It's very reminiscent of the Railway Children, actually, if you remember that movie. And, let's just navigate, because we've got dogs, we've got cars, we've got tourists. So here we go. The Bakewell railway station. So visioning this restored so that people don't have to get in their car and drive to Bakewell and other places within the Derbyshire Dales, but they can get on a train, maybe all the way eventually from Manchester to Derby. That is the link. How amazing would that be? People could come in by train all the way from Manchester, all the way from Derby, and ultimately from Chesterfield and Sheffield. Take a lot of cars off the roads and be a much more efficient way of organising things here in the Derbyshire Dales. So that is very much one of the local policies which I am standing for. But more than anything, I am standing to pattern interrupt the red and blue Punch and Judy show, which, if it goes unchecked, will mean that we have a Labour government and a Labour Prime Minister come 4th of July, come 5th of July when the results are in. It's a new moon on the 5th of July. Given that 4th of July is Independence Day, to me that augurs well. Just imagine if the wave of independence, standing up, speaking out, speaking truth to power. Imagine if they all got elected. It would transform politics overnight, and that truly would make 4th of July Independence Day. So please do consider standing. If you're in Derbyshire Dales, please consider supporting me, either with your vote, helping me with the campaign, helping support my nomination. And if you are in flow of funds, please send me some financial support to finance the huge cost of standing for election. So sending you lots of love, and I do have hope in my heart that change is happening, and there's a possibility in this incredible dragon year of magic for we, the people, to upset the apple cart of the established order. So with that thought, have a great bank holiday Monday, and speak to you soon. Bye for now.